Every time you log on, someone is posting their morning routine, flashing a new watch, or announcing their latest side hustle. We're constantly pressured to share our goals and document our grind for the world to see. But hitting post triggers a dangerous chemical reaction. Your brain releases a dopamine surge simply from the likes and comments you receive. You get the biochemical reward of achieving a goal before doing a single minute of the hard work required to reach it. Out there in the real world, the reaction is rarely as supportive as those comments suggest. Human nature operates on a quiet, brutal rule. People are happy to see you do well as long as you aren't doing better than them. The moment you loudly declare your ambition, you paint a massive target on your own back. You alert competitors to your strategy, invite the jealousy of friends, and give critics the exact metrics needed to measure your inevitable early failures. The loudest person in the room is usually the most vulnerable. True players know the only way to build an unshakable foundation is to completely pull the plug on the noise and activate ghost mode. If you want to achieve massive, undeniable success, you have to do the exact opposite of what the algorithm demands. You must completely, intentionally disappear from the public eye. Disappearing doesn't mean moving to a cabin in the woods. The first phase of ghost mode is strategic camouflage. You stay exactly where you are, but you ruthlessly control the image you project to the people around you. 500 years ago in Florence, Niccolo Machiavelli studied the mechanics of power and survival. He observed how the wealthiest merchants and sharpest political operators kept their heads while others lost theirs. His most effective defensive strategy was simple: always appear ordinary. If your business is booming, tell people the market is tight. If you get a promotion, credit dumb luck. You actively perform the role of someone who is struggling, or at least unremarkable. Loudly displaying wealth triggers defensive reactions. People compete. But project a flat, unremarkable image, and competitors drop their guard. Protected beneath that boring surface, you are free to build a massive, complex network of wealth entirely undisturbed. Look at Warren Buffett. He still lives in the same modest house he bought in 1958. This extreme frugality operates as a highly calculated strategy to deflect the destructive, exhausting scrutiny that targets billions of dollars in wealth. He controls his image so perfectly that the world sees a kindly, frugal grandfather, while he quietly continues to compound an empire. Appearing unthreatening is your absolute best shield. Once your shield is up and the world has stopped paying attention to you, you stop playing defense. Now you hunt. Think about how a magnifying glass works. If you wave it around, the scattered sunlight barely warms the ground. But if you hold it perfectly still, locking all that energy onto a single concentrated point, it creates fire. This intense focus demands the monk mode mentality. Legendary athletes like Milkha Singh didn't win by balancing their lives. They sacrificed their comfort, cut out social distractions, and pursued a singular physical and mental target with absolute obsession. And in that isolated space, you are going to fail, a lot. The true test of this grind is your ability to endure hundreds of painful, humiliating setbacks alone, without running to your friends for sympathy or validation. When we look at Thomas Edison holding a working light bulb, we see an inventor's triumph. What we don't see are the thousands of quiet, frustrating experiments that failed completely in the dark before that single success was ever revealed. While failing and iterating, focus entirely on building systems, not monuments. A luxury car is a monument, draining your bank account to scream for attention. An automated business is a system, quietly generating cash while you sleep. The entire purpose of stepping into the shadows is to focus all your energy on building an architecture of independent systems, assets that never require applause to keep functioning. Eventually, the work is done. The systems are running. When you finally re-emerge with a completed transformation, the psychological shock to everyone who underestimated you is absolute. But the biggest shift happens inside of you. Because you built your foundation in complete isolation, you realize you no longer crave the spotlight. You don't need the crowd's approval anymore, because you've already proven your worth to the only person who matters. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam spent years working on early space and defense projects, like the SLV-3, that failed publicly and painfully. He absorbed those defeats quietly. By the time his subsequent successes turned India into a global missile power, those early private failures were entirely eclipsed by undeniable national triumphs. This is what it means to build a quiet empire. It is a state where your influence, your capital, and your security are felt everywhere, but your ego is invisible. Take Ingvar Kamprad, the founder of IKEA. He amassed a net worth of nearly $60 billion, yet he drove a 15-year-old Volvo and clipped discount coupons at the grocery store. He held vast economic power, but actively rejected the aesthetic of wealth to protect his own peace. The indisputable rule of true success is this: money screams for attention. Actual wealth remains completely silent. Stop trying to prove your worth to people who don't matter. Lower your profile, keep your mouth shut, disappear into the work, and build your empire in the shadows.